Most exciting destination in all of northern Wisconsin. LCO Casino Lodge and Convention Center, Hayward. LCO.
Hello, I'm Kimberly, and welcome to the Native News Update. It's Friday, June 15th, and many of the stories you hear here can be found at IndianCountryTV.com. And here's the news for today from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. The Supreme Court affirmed the treaty rights of tribal nations in Washington state in a case that also confirms the treaty rights of tribes throughout the West. By ruling to leave in place a lower court decision mandating that the state of Washington replace salmon block and culverts with passable ones, the court upheld the treaty rights of tribes to have sustained access to their first foods, salmon. The justices tied 4-4 in affirming the Ninth Circuit Court ruling in favor of the tribes in a case that has been going on since 2001 with treaty tribes in western Washington and the Yakama Nation in eastern Washington challenging the state to remove or repair impassable road culverts that block salmon from returning to their historic spawning habitat. The main question, however, was whether treaties signed in 1854 and 1855 guaranteed that there would always be enough fish to provide 21 western Washington tribes with a moderate living. The Ninth Circuit Court gave a qualified yes to that question, and now the Supreme Court has affirmed that decision. One of the final water rights settlements between the United States and Native American tribes was signed June 12th, resolving a generation-long battle between the Blackfeet Tribe of Montana and the federal government. Secretary of the Interior Ryan Zink and Blackfeet Nation Chairman Harry Barnes signed documents that implemented the Blackfeet Water Rights Settlement and the Blackfeet Water Compact. The settlement resolves outstanding water rights claims on about 750,000 acre-feet of water on the reservation and recognizes the Blackfeet tribe's religious and cultural uses of water. The 1855 Blackfeet Treaty with the United States reserved the Montana Native American tribes' water rights. On April 20, 2017, Blackfeet tribal members voted to accept the Blackfeet Water Compact and settlement. The U.S. Secretary of the Interior, Ryan Zink, has worked on the water rights issue as a state senator in the Montana State Legislature, as a U.S. representative from Montana, and now as the Secretary of the Interior. The Puyallup Tribe has donated a total of $500,000 to charity partners of the Seattle Seahawks. 10 charities will receive $50,000 each and were chosen for their direct work with youth and social service programs in the Pacific Northwest. The recipients include the City of Tacoma Neighborhood and Community Services, Domestic Abuse Women's Network, Helping Hand House, New Beginnings, REACH, Sawhorse Revolution, Special Olympics National Games, Sports in Schools, Vision House, Washington Department of Veteran Affairs. For more information, you can check out Puyallup-Tribe.com. The 118th U.S. Open is being held at the Shinnecock Hills Golf Club. The first Native American professional golfer, Oscar Bunn, grew up 2 miles south of the club, caddying and learning to play on the course that took its name from his Native American nation. Bunn befriended the first African American pro, John Shippen, and together they entered the 1896 U.S. Open to be held at their home club. Shippen finished tied for 6th and Bunn placed 21st. More than a century later, the U.S. Open returns to the Shinnecock Hills for the 5th time, and the tournament's organizers are celebrating Bunn's contribution to the sport. The United States Golf Association recognized the Shinnecock Nation during its opening ceremony and announced that it will build the Oscar Bunn Golf Facility once the event is over. The Yurok Tribe's award-winning stewardship of the Klamath River is featured in a new California Academy of Sciences exhibit called Giants of Land and Sea. The Yurok Tribe's portion of the exhibit, entitled Yurok Voices, is comprised of a series of 3 videos in which Yurok political leaders and fishery biologists detail the tribe's enduring effort to revitalize the Klamath's once sustainable salmon runs. The river's late summer, early fall run of Chinook salmon, presently the most populous stock, has reached record low levels in the past 3 years. In 2016 and 2017, fewer fish returned to the river than any other time in modern history. Driving the downturn are 4 fish ladderless dams, which create poor water quality conditions and block access to hundreds of miles of fish habitat. In 2021, those 4 dams are slated for removal in what will be the largest watershed restoration project in U.S. history. For nearly 2 decades, the Yurok Tribe and neighboring tribes have led a campaign to bring the dams down and reopen 250 miles of historic salmon spawning habitat. For more information, you can check out calacademy.org/exhibit/giants-of-land-and-c. And that's another roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. I'd like to thank you for joining me and have a grand day.